All right, so in today's video, and as you can see, the green screen is a little bit updated. I might have a little bit, the lighting might be a little bit too, I'll fix that a little bit later, but all right, so today's video, we have a Gold 3 diva who says that no matter what the other team is going, they're not going to switch. And if you've seen the diva guide video we did recently, we talk about good matchups, bad matchup, all of that, matchups, and we got a Zarya against a diva on Junkertown. They want to know if they played this correctly. What should they have done? I don't know. We'll find out. Get ready, because it's video time. Yeah, I mean, like, straight up, and I even in, like, the video we did, diva against Zarya is like a very difficult matchup. That I can absolutely agree with. Now, Junkertown, if I'm going to be honest with you, though, is not the strongest Zarya map, right? So automatically, this is going to be a map where the way that you play against a Zarya is going to be a little bit easier than you normally would. Now, you had the right idea there, and it actually kind of worked. It's just you lost your suit, but you also got their backline. That is like the first step to playing against a Zarya that I've talked about, is when you play against a Zarya, you don't like just sit there and try to face tank the Zarya. You have to go in and make an aggressive play. And that's what we saw. That was good, though. This is gold. Like, that's how you play against Zarya. You either count bubbles, track them from, like, a distance or an off angle, or you just don't ever give the Zarya an opportunity to get you, and you just let the Zarya hopefully not roll your backline. Okay, so already one mistake you made there was you stayed there for too long. Now, I'm not saying that you won't keep your suit here, but when you're going to fly away there, it's okay to just to fly away and reset temporarily. Obviously, it depends on their HP. You gotta understand, like, where your flight control is gonna go. Because, like, right there, it felt like you thought you could make that flight, and you didn't. I do that sometimes, but on I've more diva practice and maps, you kind of understand in most situations if you're gonna be able to make it somewhere, and that was one of the tough ones.
Love the content as always, keep it up.
Hyper, thanks for the 9 months of tier 1. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you. Not bad, not bad. Understanding the bubbles there. Good. I think you're going to struggle a bit more on second and third. At least, like, in theory, you should, because diva against Zarya is just a tough matchup. It doesn't mean you can't play diva against Zarya. It's just a tough matchup, so you have to find, like, your spots. I feel like on third point especially, that's where you'll... maybe not, actually. Maybe this just isn't a good Zarya map. So, like, automatically, like, it's going to be... Like, if you're playing King's Row against Zarya, it's a lot different than playing against Junkertown Zarya. You have so much more room to make... Yeah, this is fine. You got the bubbles counted out, get the Zarya, and Zarya's not looking at you. DMing to make sure your teammates will die. Good. Jump. That was good. Now, I wonder if they'll switch off of Zarya. No? Okay. This is good. I mean, yeah. I mean, I would always recommend Sigma on this map, as well as, like, Havana and Circuit Royale, etc. I feel like this type of map with the sight lines that they have is so Widow dominant, and then, like, Sigma just plays well through all 3 points. I mean, third point you can argue is more difficult. Nice job, backing away. Yeah, you kind of have a general idea of how you want to play against Zarya. So far I don't have too much to say on that. Right now it's more going to be about, like, your just understanding the way your movement goes is... It's an ult. It's gonna... Nice remake. It's gonna be an interesting one because you just had a free limb on the Moira, but okay. I was gonna say, you had a free limb on the Moira and you went for the Widow. I think you're fine with getting the limb on the Moira, then getting the Widow. Because there's a different play that happens there where you get on them and then they just... heal the Widow and you get rolled. Well, I don't even know where that debuff went. To give you an idea, I couldn't tell you where that debuff went. It went somewhere. I think we've all been there. Whoop. So far, they've been playing it fine. Remember the point we said where I think they'll struggle a bit more? Third point. I think third point is definitely the map where you'll struggle a little bit more. I just think at this point in the game, it's like... It's very close, which is... Yeah, I was just going to say. I get what you're trying to do right there, but that play, I want you to think about it from this way. Go bottom right. Or go, like, through a different angle than trying to fly across the map. I want you to kind of, envision what it would look like if you were on the other team and you watched a D.Va fly across the map for the win. You see what happened to your stuff? You said, how much did it? Oh, I don't. I just, people submit them on my Discord. I can't believe that got somebody. Now, I want to point out, you're making your play... Good job getting the Widow. I just feel like you're making what you're... This part's working, but you're almost making what you're going to do a bit too apparent to the other team. It just so happened the other team decided that they wanted to push into your spawn at the same time, so your trades ended up working, so it's like, that the way you played that was fairly decent. Recognizing you can't really, like, face tank the Zarya, so you go to their backline to make a play. Your teammates somewhat survive, their team kind of splits up, and it worked out, so it's like, it's not a bad play. I just want you to be a little bit less apparent when you're making that play. Like, go right side now. Like, go, because I know what you're going to do now. You're going to go for that Widow soon. But, like, take a different approach. Second for your teammates in the back lines. Good, that's a good job. Yeah, you're gonna... Okay, so back to, you were playing this really well, but why are you just standing on the cart now? This is where you're gonna get rolled. But yeah, this is where, like, third point, you're gonna struggle a little bit, but, like, go up to the high ground, fly up. Don't play, oh, that's my mouse that made that sound, because of the battery. So, here we go. The right idea. This is why I was saying you probably can have a little bit of flight control to work on, which is where, like, you just kind of make sure your movement on D.Va's pretty good, because you've had a couple moments where you're doing, like, doing this movement with D.Va that, like, looks really cool, but, like, you're actually not ended up going anywhere. So a lot of that you can practice in the trainer range, like going through, like, different parts. Actually, you know what? Even, like, the new D.Va mastery could probably be really good for understanding how to, like, work on your D.Va movement to make it a little bit more consistent in the way you want to go. So, I think there's a few of them that we're seeing. Nice ult. I mean, it works. I don't think that's bad. Nice. I like your aggression that you're playing there. Not bad. I do think that, like, your biggest issue right now isn't even how you're playing against the Zarya. Outside of a couple moments, which, I mean, that's going to happen. You're going to end up in these spots where you have to go up against the Zarya regardless. But I think for you as D.Va, it's going to be more about I think it's your movement that's going to be your #1 issue right now. Your defense matrix management's probably a little bit off too, but, like, that's like minimal to what we're looking at. I think overall you're probably going to be in a fairly decent spot against you have an idea of how you want to play against the Zarya. Oh, did we get you baited? Oh, we're on the Sigma now. It's fine. I will say, just so you know, if you're playing D.Va, if you need to play Sigma on defense, I am totally okay with it. This is one of Sigma's best maps. Now, is it Sigma's best map because Sigma can absolutely dominate on it? No. It's more along the lines of you have so much survivability as Sigma that you can pop off and make plays. It's generally gonna, if your Widow's popping off, or the other team's Widow's popping off, you're gonna spend the majority of the time going, well, this is something. But if they aren't, then as Sigma, you can probably make some good plays. Wow, that Mauga had a ton of fun. And what happened? They got rolled by one of the snipers. Actually, you have a Bastion too. That probably helped. Waiting to see. Going for this armor's good here. Anybody in your team who got rolled there, that's more than them not adjusting to your team's positioning. I would die card. You're not gonna get out. Unless I'm wrong here and the Moira gets their Moira. Yeah. Yeah, eventually they're gonna get you. I guess that was still okay because you ended up dying on the cart. It's just like that extra 2 or 3 meters can, like, make the difference, like, by far in Overwatch. Like, just by a little bit can make a huge difference for you at that point. Okay, back to D.Va, just like that. There you go. That was quick. I like how you both started on different heroes and went back to the comfort pick right away. We've all been there. I mean, like, I'll play, like, a round. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Good job staying away from the Zarya. Think about health pack next. Or back to your team. Those are the 2 options. Both were good. Yep. The one thing that, and this goes for anybody playing Diva against the Zarya, and this is kind of what I've talked about when you play against the Zarya. Do you notice how they're not really engaged in the Zarya at all? Are you noticing that? And actually, I just saw somebody type it into Zarya with like 5 question marks. I'm not saying that Zarya versus Diva is a good matchup, but you can play against the Zarya, and you have to change your playstyle quite a bit. And if you look at it right now, it's working fairly well, right? This is against the Zarya. Now, keep in mind, this goes down to maps. I think if you're on a King's Row, you lose a little bit of that, like I was saying, that availability to make some of these plays, but I think this is pretty good. I think, like, so far, so good, in my opinion. Yeah. I was gonna say, is that Sojourn going off the map right there? Wait for it. You might get rolled here. Maybe they'll get rolled. Yeah, this is a play. This is gonna come down to the supports. If there's, yeah, you're fine. As I love how, as I say, it's gonna come down to the supports. Yeah, that's what I was kind of like, yo, you've been here for way too long. I was like, you've been here for way too long. It's gonna come down to if that support even remotely helps out that Zarya, you're going back to spawn. This is like where one of the tough parts as when you play Diva against Zarya is it's like finding those timings to go for Zarya. Like right now, that flight control I talked about, do you see what you just did? You're gonna have it back now, but like that's not a what in the world. Now you went to the health pack, okay? And the thing is, you still might survive this. Yeah, there it is. Your team still might be fine here. Nope. Okay, so like this is what I'm talking about. Have you noticed how on Diva you're making all these really cool plays and you're doing like this, like you have pretty good movement? Do you notice how a lot of the time, you're missing where you want to go to? Or you like turn around and go back into the team? That is not what you want to do. Too many times you're making that play, you minimize doing that, you're gonna have a much better time. But you keep doing this thing where you fly away, then you're like, oh, I'm not gonna make it, then you stop and you're like in front of everybody, and then things like this happen. Your teammates feel obligated to have to try to help you. They use their abilities to do that, and then it's not advantageous for your team, and now it looks like you're gonna lose the team fight. You know what I'm saying? Politosh, thanks for the 74 months of the tier 1. Thank you, appreciate it. Long time, I appreciate it. Thank you. I mean, at this point, like, you're better off just getting rolled in the cart well before this. Watch you baby Diva someone. I just want you to see, like, okay, your team actually got DLM. I just feel like it's just gonna run into the same issue. You can keep running away, you're gonna get back in your suit, and you're gonna get shredded. Unless that Zarya does that, that's good. That Zarya's over pushing. You got your suit back. Okay, here you go. Fly to the point. Don't use your ult. Okay, so do you see what I'm saying, though? And this is where, like, this goes back to why don't you just go into regroup mode rather than just doing that? You see what I'm saying? Oh, I mean, even the touch of the point there wouldn't have mattered. They didn't have enough people there. It wasn't going to matter. They were still running back from spawn. That was not one of those situations. I wouldn't have even engaged the point. Nope. The team was staggered for too long. That was just a snowball. That was basically somebody going to the point. 1v5. That was essentially what that was. That's why I said it's going to be interesting to watch you go to the point here. Yep. Third point. Third point. Hey, you're having fun now, aren't you? Having a good time. Look, we're gonna gotta go back to what I was talking about. Listen, you want to play Diva against this comp on this map? We'll talk about it in a second. So let's kind of go back to this. And you said you wanted to play D.Va on this, and you were fine. The first half of the game, you were playing great. You were staying away from the Zarya. Why are you flying to the cart automatically over and over again and engaging the Zarya? Keep in mind, you have plenty of time. What is going to win you a team fight? 4 limbs on their team? Like, you get 4 of them and a Zarya on cart? Or flying into a Zarya over and over again and them always having a 4v5 or a 5v4, right? So, the first half of the game, you were playing great. You were flying all over the place. You were playing around the map. You were playing high grounds. Why are you now defaulting to going to the cart again? You see what I'm saying? It's okay to give up cart space. And this is something that, like, you start to see a bit more in, like, you'll see a lot in top 500 games where people are like, why aren't you, like, stopping the cart? It's like, because we're not really worried about stopping the cart. We just know that we're going to win the team fight if we have the map control. And the cart can push here, but we're not worried about that because you pick off the Echo out of position. You find the Sojourn who's out of position. You know, if the Zarya uses their bubbles, you isolate the Zarya. You don't just fly to the cart over and over again and then lose your suit. And that's what you've done since second point where you didn't die in the point because you staggered yourself and got rolled. You see what I'm saying? We have like a bunch of spectated stuff on that stuff. I mean, this goes back to what I was saying. I would go Sigma on this map. I would go Sigma on this map. I think if you want to, truthfully, if you wanted to actually like not counter the Zarya, but make it harder for the Zarya, you could actually make it harder for both the Zarya and the Sojourn if you just switch to Winston on third. You can go Zarya. I would still recommend Sigma. I think Sigma's just good. I think Sigma at times requires a bit too much of like your pathin. So your pathin's like, what that means is like the way that you like go on the map. So, like, you would have to do more, like, default stuff where you, like, go up the side stairs, take your time, take the high ground, clear out areas and maps, and, like, you'll see that more as you climb in higher ranks. In some ranks, it just won't work as well because players aren't going to be in the same spots. So, any of those heroes can work. You said Ryan. I mean, the only reason I don't really ever recommend Ryan is because I'm not the best Ryan, so I probably don't see the same vision of how Ryan would work on third point. Standing on the cart could probably work if you really wanted to play that play style, but Ryan could work, yes. It's just, you won't see me on Ryan on third, and that's because I'm bad at Ryan. I understand how Ryan plays, it's just, I'm too impatient at times on Ryan. All right, here we go. D.Va at the beginning of the game. Reload, thanks for the 36 months of the first round. Thank you. Appreciate it. You're doing it now. Okay, so I want you to start to understand where your gameplay has changed now. You started to go around the map, you started to play high ground, you started to work with your teammates. But what's happening now? Now you're just flying into the team over and over again. It's like out of nowhere you decided that you needed to start getting more limbs, when in reality that was the exact opposite. The way you were playing before was preventing their Sojourn from getting picks, their Widow from getting picks. Now you just run at them, and you get rolled. And you keep losing your suit. You were doing things like this, going to their back line. And this is with the Zarya there, right? Now you have the opportunity to, like, you know, make it a little bit more difficult. Going for the Echo might not go well if they have their beam, but no, they didn't, so you're good. Also, I want to point out your flight control again there. You probably could have ended up in a much safer spot than you did. And that kind of goes to show you that you can definitely practice that. Okay, don't face take this. Play an angle. High ground, top right stairs. High ground, top right stairs. Just for a second. Just 3 on cart. You're going to be fine. Okay, I go for the Zarya now. You're fine. You have numbers. But, like, getting the good habit of just, like, going up to the top right stairs to make the Zarya have to take different angles. And then you, even if the Zarya goes for you, your teammates have a free angle on Zarya, so.
Adaptive circuits engaged.
He should thanks for the 4 months of the tier 1. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you. Good first point by your team. And it's overtime spawns, which, as we know in overtime, that's when everybody runs back to the cart over and over again and says hello. Every single time. One thing I was going to look at here, he said, is it smarter to give up space in order to, like, regain control of a up-close fight as Sigma? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sigma's about zoning out areas, not about, like, your space creation as Reinhardt is different than Sigma. Sigma's about zoning out areas with your damage. Reinhardt's about taking control of the area they have. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Sigma will play a lot slower than some of the heroes because you're going to be playing more of, like, that. Almost like you're, like, in cement. You get to a spot, you just stay there for a bit. Much better, by the way. This approach you're taking is a little bit better. Oh, you had the... That, by the way, that play right there can happen. It's really hard for me to be able to recreate that, but you can definitely do that with D.Va. You can launch yourself in the air. I actually think, and I don't know when they changed it. Too aggressive in a second. I don't know when they changed it. This is fine going for the Echo. The Moira is definitely looking forward rather than back. Yep. Like, it seems like recently you get launched by some boots in general. Like, you go flying. I want you to kind of, like, take into account how many times you see your teammate use a lamp on you because you play a bit too aggro. And I'm not saying that it's a bad lamp and that it didn't work. It's more along the lines of those are plays that you might need that lamp one time, and that's where you lose a team fight because of how you're playing. You don't need to face tank the Zarya or fly into him right now. Now you can. For 2 more seconds, get out. Get out. Get out. There you go. Nice. That was a good play. Good job. The turnaround grab play, which is where you... Nice. That was very well played. The turnaround grab play is where you fly away from a Zarya, and then you, like, last second turn, and then they'll, like, this is the time where they'll be like, oh, this would be a good job to, like, grab because the D.Va's flying away, and you just, like, fly away and turn, and then you can eat the grab. Now, they tried that, didn't work, and they ate the grab after, so that was a good eat, so... Way to protect your team here right now. Yeah, there you go. You have an idea what you want to do. Remember, you have teammates. Eat the Moira orbs. You're good for now. You should win that. You should win this, at least this team fight. Anything to do with, like, that stuff is on my Discord, that question. Be careful here. Be careful for a second, because at a certain point you're playing a bit too aggro here. I guess you have your ultimate, but yeah. Okay. Now, I would ult that to get my suit back, but it's so far working, so I can't... By the way, next time, just a little... This is a slight... Don't walk through here again. Like, a slight, play I saw you could change. Don't walk through here. Just rotate around. It's a safer play. Going through here can get you rolled. Just be careful of that. I know you got away with it, but those are plays that, like, won't always work like that. And you got your suit back, so what can I say? Nice, you got someone. I don't know how, but you did. Yeah. That's fine. You weren't going to win that one anyway. In that situation, by the way, there's something that I would do against that grab. I would try to eat both the right click from Zarya and then turn around and also eat the Junkrat shots. Have a timing to save both your teammates, or you just DM your teammates and then it'll eat both of the projectiles. If Zarya left clicks, of course, that's a little bit different. You can't eat the left click, but you can eat the right click from Zarya. Which a lot of Zaryas, when they get a grab, especially with multiple people in it, will right click into it rather than the left click, so you can try to do that. So they didn't really get off the point there. They just team got rolled, and then the Junkrat trap was there. That wasn't like one of the... I wouldn't play the song in that situation. Okay, on Roadhog now. I mean, I guess it can work. See how it goes. Wow. Just hit the button for fun. What rank is this? Gold? Alright, you're looking to take as much damage. Just be careful. You're running out of resources right now, so like you're gonna make it difficult for your supports if you... That's the hook that was in their general vicinity. That's always nice. That's the hook that you hit. Oh yeah, that's gonna be good. That's... Yeah. Okay, so at no point did you give yourself an opportunity to actually be able to do anything right there. You just ran at them as Hog and didn't look at the comp they had. Hog has good survivability, but there's a certain point where there's a Bastion there. You don't want to keep running into their face over and over and over again. That isn't Roadhog a worse counter? I mean, Hog is Hog. Like, you're not looking to counter much with Hog at that point. You're just playing Hog. I don't know how to explain it. Like, there's no like Hog's like, the way you're gonna play that is you're just gonna go around the map. You're gonna make it so they look at you. And you're going to spam your heal, and if you get a bunch of picks, you get a bunch of picks, and you can dominate, and if you don't, then you don't. And then there you go. Also, I'm not saying it's the go-to play for this, but you can also use your ultimate to just get them off the cart, because the ult lasts for, what, like 2 years? So you should be good on that, too. What's the current tank? I don't even know. I mean, I see a bit more like Ramatra being played in top 500, more Winston, Jungler Queen. I'm seeing a lot of that, like, which I think is actually a pretty fun rotation of heroes to play. It's most people in ranked right now are kind of just ready for season 9, So a lot of what you're seeing is more people kind of just being like, okay, it's time for, you know, something. You deny. You can just ult this in a second if you want. Even with that, yeah, you're good. Your team wins this. No way you actually, I was gonna say. Yep. There you go. Just like that, see? You said you were hoping for a tap fire ultimate? Oh, when we had that one person who would just, like, tap their ultimate. It was very interesting. Yeah, so you had asked, like, how you felt about, like, the D.Va gameplay against Zarya. It was good until it wasn't. And I think the best way to explain it is you started off really strong, and then you started to do the exact opposite of what you were doing when you were playing really well, and you hard fed in over and over again on D.Va against Zarya. So if you're going to play against a Zarya's D.Va, you need to keep playing those angles. It's okay to give up card space. If you get the elims and you prevent their backline from doing anything after a certain point, you're going to win that team fight, right? You also kind of need to work on your movement as D.Va. A lot of the times you were kind of getting stuck on, like, in their backline, or you were, like, not able to get to where you were trying to go to. Just go into the trainer range, go into the D.Va mastery they had recently, and just practice your movement, and you'll probably see an increase. Those type of plays, having good movement as D.Va, can be the difference in between holding a point, not staggering, making a really cool play, getting a really cool limb. Work on that, and I think you'll be in a good spot. Look at the first half, how you played against Zarya. Play more like that. Minimize a bit of the second half of when you played against Zarya, because you just kind of flew with the Zarya, which is not the play. All right? If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button. Subscribe to all 3 YouTubes if you haven't. Everyday uploads on there. If you want to submit your own spectating, if you look in the description below, you'll see my Discord. That's where you do that. There's a bunch of other stuff you can submit on there, too. We're also looking for, like, stuff to react to, so if you have anything you want to put there. We record these live on stream. If you look below the webcam, you see the Twitch chat right there. We have a lot of fun here, so make sure to stop by if you haven't. With that being said, hope you all have an amazing day/night.